if you're watching this probably means that you're planning a trip to Sri Lanka and that you're looking for the best things to see and do. A few months ago, I went on an epic 12-day adventure to Sri Lanka and traveled to the most beautiful destinations around the country and had the best time ever. For this trip, I decided to join a group trip for the first time in my life, and it was so nice because it made traveling so convenient since I didn't have to think about how to get from A to B, and most importantly, I was surrounded by an awesome group of people. So if you're looking to join a group trip, make sure to check out the link in my description box and to use Eileen10 to get a 10% discount on all of the tours that LostWild offers this year. But now let's get into our 12-day itinerary for Sri Lanka. Day 1 was the arrival day for all of the people who decided to join this group trip to Sri Lanka, so we all flew into the airport in Negombo and got picked up by the LostWild team, and you could choose either between a tuk-tuk pickup or between a regular pickup by a car, but obviously I wanted to have the full Sri Lankan adventure already and went for the tuk-tuk ride, which was super fun. It was only 30 minutes, I think, and then we arrived at our beautiful hotel in the afternoon, and by the evening everybody who joined the tour has arrived, and we all had a very beautiful welcome dinner on the rooftop of our hotel with a nice view on the sunset, and we all got to know each other. And then on the next day our tour finally started. On day 2 in the morning, it was time to check out of our beautiful hotel, which I will also link in the description box below. It was really a dream. It was right at the beach, and we got picked up by our tour guide for the 12-day adventure, and his name is Sri, and oh my god guys, he is the best guy ever. We had so much fun with him throughout this entire trip. He surprised us with these flower necklaces and told us a few words in the native language such as Ayubowan, which basically means hello. Then we stopped at an ATM to get our money exchanged to get the local currency, which is Sri Lankan rupee, and for €1 you get around 350 Sri Lankan rupees, so you will feel rich changing 200 euros. Then it was time to head to our first destination, which was Dambulla and the Golden Buddha caves, which was super impressive. There was so much to see. I think we spent around 1 or 2 hours there to have a look at every single detail. It was super beautiful but also super hot because we went in the middle of Sri Lankan summer, and yes, it was very hot, but you need to cover up to enter the temple side. And then after that we went for a sunset climb to Pidurangala rock, which has a beautiful view over the popular Sigiriya rock. The hike wasn't too bad. It took around 30 minutes, but the last few meters really were climbing, so you had to be a little bit active, but it was very worth it. All of us enjoyed the sunset together, and then we headed back to our hotel because we needed to have an early night's sleep because we went to a sunrise hike to Sigiriya rock itself this morning. I recommend to bring a lot of water and to be prepared for a lot of stairs. It's definitely doable and you can just take your time. We left really in time, so even if you were very slow, you would still make it up for sunrise. And the sunrise there, oh my god guys, it was so beautiful. The colors took so many beautiful colors. It was really worth the hike, so if you're thinking of skipping this activity, don't. You can get up there.
Almost at the top, and yesterday we went to this one for the sunset, and this one was way easier to get up. We made it.
Then we headed back to our hotel, showered, rested and packed, because then it was time for a farming and cooking experience with a local village family, which was so interesting. They had heaps of vegetarian food options for me as well, and the family was so kind and sweet and really included us in all of the process of the cooking. And the food, oh my god guys, the food was so good. I was so impressed by this. After the farming experience, it was time to head back to our hotel and get some sleep, because in the next morning we left to Kandy. We just spent one night in Kandy, and on the way there we stopped at a spice garden and had an educational morning where we got introduced to all the popular spices coming from Sri Lanka. After that we checked in at our hotel in Kandy. On the plan for the afternoon was to visit the sacred temple of the tooth, visit the cultural Kenyan dance and see a fire show, but I felt a little bit exhausted from all of the hikes, so I just decided to skip these activities. Other people from our group went. There were I think 2 or 3 other people who also decided to just take a rest, which is completely fine. You can decide every single day if you want to join the activities that LostWild offers. Of course they're included in the price that you pay, but yeah, if you just feel exhausted or you just need a little bit time for yourself, you can feel free to just take the afternoon off and just chill a little bit or just go exploring by yourself. That's what I did in the afternoon. I just went out and strolled around Kandy for a little bit. It looked really beautiful, really pretty. I just tried some local food, and then I had a very early night. I think I went to bed at 7. We only spent one night in Kandy, which I personally think it's enough. So on day 5 we headed towards the next destination, and on the way we stopped at a tea picking plantation because Sri Lanka is actually very popular for its tea, not the coffee. Unfortunately, I didn't really find any good coffee in Sri Lanka. At the tea plantation we learned a lot about the process of tea production and then got to try different teas and tea cake in the end, which was really good. I can really recommend the tea cake, guys. It doesn't sound really appealing, but it's really good. After that it was time for the activity I was personally most excited about, and it's a famous blue train ride to Ella. We took the train from Kandy all the way to Ella and also crossed the 9 Arcs Bridge, which was really dreamy, but unfortunately it was a bit cloudy and rainy, but still we had the best time as a group on the train. It was such a scenic and beautiful train ride, guys. Oh my god, I think it was the most beautiful train ride I ever had in my life. If you want to take one of the famous pictures where you hang out of the train doors, make sure to book the 2nd or 3rd class ticket, because the 1st class has AC and they don't open the doors or the windows. On the schedule for day 6 was a sunrise hike to Little Adams Peak, which I have heard about a lot of times, and even though it looks very beautiful on the pictures, our group all decided to rest the morning and just sleep in and skip this activity together. Well, actually, Leah, Romina and we decided to go back to the 9 Arcs Bridge early in the morning to create some content there. And guys, if you want to fly the drone there, you have to be very careful, because underneath the bridge there's like huge nets, I'm not really sure how to say it in English, of hornets, and they will attack your drone if you fly too close. So make sure to keep your distance from the bridge with your drone and just enjoy it. It's very beautiful in the morning and there's always a few trains passing by. I think while we were there for 1.5 hours, we saw 2 trains, so definitely really beautiful. You can also check out their schedule, and I will try to find the link where you can see the schedule and put it in the description box below as well. Then in the afternoon it was time for ziplining adventure, and it was a huge zipline over the highlands, and wow, this one had speed, guys. It was really so fast, but it's really safe and everybody really enjoyed it and came down with a huge smile on their face. On day 7 it was time to leave Ella and we were headed towards the Udawalawa National Park, but on the way it was time to chase some waterfalls, because there were some impressive waterfalls on the way. The ones we visited were called Diyaluma Waterfalls and they were so impressive, and together we had to trek through the jungle, and then we just spent the morning there, took a dip or even jumped into them and had all lunch together in the middle of this stunning waterfall, which was a really nice experience. And I don't want to sound like your mom, but there's really not a lot of shade there, so definitely don't forget to put on enough of sunscreen, because a lot of us got sunburned badly. After that we continued our drive to Udawalawa, and on the way we already saw an elephant on the road, which was so amazing, and in the beginning scary for me because I thought he could just run on the street, but there was an electric fence, so he was behind the fence, but still we just saw an elephant, a wild elephant. On day 8 we woke up early and were searching for elephants, crocodiles, leopards. We saw heaps of elephants. One sneaky one even decided to steal the breakfast box of Nicole, and 2 other ones decided to chase our vehicle. So yes, the safari was definitely a lot of fun and a really adventurous experience for all of us. You have a higher chance of seeing leopards in the Yala National Park, which is the other one, but there the elephant population is lower, so apparently the chances to see a leopard is a little bit higher in Yala National Park, but then the chances to see elephants is really significantly lower in Yala National Park than Udawalawa National Park, so we went for Udawalawa and we had a really good time there. Really recommend. After our safari finished, we went for a cooling dip in the river next to our safari camp, enjoyed some snacks and drinks, and just had a good time with all the people before calling it a night very early, because everybody of us was super tired from the long safari day. After spending 2 nights at the safari camp, it was finally time to head towards the south coast of Sri Lanka, which took about 2 hours if I'm not mistaken, and on the way we stopped at an elephant orphanage and saw how they were fed, and oh my god, it was the cutest thing ever, guys. And then in Mirissa we had the afternoon to ourselves to just relax a little bit. I just went for a stroll at the beach, which was super beautiful, and then in the evening we all had dinner together with the LostWild family at the beach, which was so nice. We all had a really good time. A few of us even went out. I'm a little grandma when it comes to that, so I went back home at I think 9 or 10 p.m. and had a good sleep, because the next morning was an early wake-up call again, because whale watching was on our itinerary for the next morning, and I was very surprised that almost everybody showed up. A lot of people were a little bit hungover, I have to say, but we saw some whales and dolphins, which was really impressive and worth it. So guys, I can recommend to not go too hard on the night before, because this is definitely a really nice thing to do in Sri Lanka. Then we all went for breakfast together at a very cute cafe. I can really recommend Plan B Cafe in Weligama. Then Layback Rooftop is also really nice, and one of the few places that has oat milk from time to time, because sometimes they run out. But yeah, for coffee you have the option to choose oat milk there, and then also Nomad Cafe is really nice. In the afternoon we all had a group surf lesson together at the famous Weligama Beach, which is a great spot for both beginners and advanced people, and I love the surf lessons so much that I told myself that I really need to do this more often, especially since I'm based in Bali and I have the ocean right in front of me. So yes, this was a lot of fun, and after that we just relaxed a little bit because surfing is very exhausting, and watched the sunset, went for dinner, and then went to bed. Day 11 was a free day to spend for us at the coast since we already had 10 really packed and adventurous days already, and I went around Weligama with the local buses, which works very well, I have to say, and they're really cheap, but wow, they drive like crazy, guys, so definitely hold on. I went to the Coconut Tree Hill with 3 other people from our group, which was super nice, and then we all had breakfast together at the cafe. Then that evening was a little bit sad because we all had a last dinner together, and it was the farewell party because on the next day was already departure day. So yes, all of us, we had a barbecue together, we played some drinking games, and we had a lot of fun, but also it was a little bit emotional since we had such a good time together. I personally decided to stay 2 nights longer in the south of Sri Lanka because I wanted to see a little bit more of the coast, but the group trip officially ended on day 12 in Mirissa. So day 12 was the final day in Sri Lanka for most of the people, and I think 10 out of 12 people, they had their flights booked for this day. So throughout the entire day people were leaving us. It was just very emotional because, you know, you will probably not see them again, but maybe you will, so it's not a goodbye, it's a see you later, as I prefer to say, but still it was a little bit emotional. We used the last 2 days to drive to Ahangama and Unawatuna, which are really beautiful coastal towns, and if you decide to go there, I can highly recommend to visit the frog walk, which is super nice. Even Romina, she climbed up the rock. I was too scared to do that because it's very steep and thin, so yeah, you can do that, but I was too scared. And then also Diyaluma, I will put the name here. That's a really nice beach, and yes, I can highly recommend to check this one out. Guys, this was my 14 days itinerary for Sri Lanka. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and this was useful for you. And if you're thinking about joining a group trip as well, because maybe you don't have a friend to go with and you don't really want to travel alone, then make sure to check out the link in my description box below, because I think there's still a few spots left for the Sri Lanka group trips this year, so be fast. And don't forget to use the code Eileen10 to get 10% discount on all of the LostWild Adventures too. So if you're not really interested in going to Sri Lanka but want to go to Bali instead, they also have group trips to Bali and also to Thailand, I think, and even more destinations. So yeah, highly recommend to check them out. Link is in my description box below. I think that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you found this useful and if you liked watching, then make sure to give me a thumbs up because that supports my channel a lot and it makes me very happy. And if you haven't yet, then make sure to also subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you guys in my next video, hopefully next Sunday. Bye!